For years, Kody Brown endured a relationship where her emotional needs were consistently overlooked by Kody. Despite being one of his first wives and the mother of several of his children, she often found herself sidelined in favor of newer spouses like Robyn and Christine. Kody's tendency to dismiss her concerns left Meri feeling isolated and undervalued, creating a cycle of unspoken resentment and sadness. Rather than addressing her emotions directly, he frequently avoided difficult conversations or shifted focus onto external issues, leaving Meri trapped in an emotionally exhausting dynamic. This pattern of neglect took a significant toll on her self-esteem and sense of security within the marriage, making it increasingly difficult for her to feel seen and appreciated. Meri's frustration was compounded by Kody's consistent pattern of avoidance rather than confrontation. Whenever she attempted to express her hurt or disappointment, he often responded with silence or deflection instead of offering reassurance or resolution. Instead of acknowledging her feelings, Kody would redirect conversations toward logistical matters, such as financial responsibilities or household duties, effectively minimizing Meri's emotional struggles. This habit made it nearly impossible for her to feel heard, reinforcing the idea that her emotions were secondary to his own comfort and priorities. Over time, this behavior became so ingrained in their dynamic that Meri began to internalize the message that her happiness was not a priority, further deepening the emotional rift between them. One of the most painful aspects of Meri's experience was the stark contrast between how Kody treated her compared to his other wives. While Robyn and Christine often received attention, validation, and affection from him, Meri was left feeling like an afterthought. Kody's actions spoke louder than words. He prioritized spending time with newer spouses, sought their opinions more frequently, and even defended their decisions over hers when conflicts arose. This preferential treatment was not only evident in private interactions, but also played out publicly, especially on the Sister Wives television show, where Meri's emotional distress was often overshadowed by the more favored relationships. The lack of equal respect and consideration eroded any remaining sense of fairness in the marriage, leaving Meri to question whether Kody ever truly valued her as much as he claimed. As the years progressed, the cumulative effect of Kody's emotional neglect chipped away at the foundation of trust and intimacy between him and Meri. Their once strong connection deteriorated into a hollow routine, marked by superficial interactions and a growing emotional distance. Meri longed for moments of genuine closeness, but Kody's reluctance to engage in meaningful dialogue left her yearning for something that seemed increasingly unattainable. Even during times when Meri tried to bridge the gap by initiating heartfelt conversations, Kody's responses were often dismissive or perfunctory, further reinforcing the idea that her emotional needs were not a priority. This persistent disregard created a void that neither party could fill, leaving Meri to grapple with the painful realization that the partnership she had once envisioned was no longer present. Without mutual effort to rebuild trust and rekindle intimacy, their relationship continued to unravel, leaving Meri feeling more alone than ever before. Meri eventually reached a point where the emotional strain became unbearable. After years of trying to make the relationship work despite Kody's indifference, she realized that her efforts were futile. She had spent so long hoping for acknowledgement and change, only to be met with more silence and neglect. The moment of reckoning came when she could no longer ignore the reality that Kody was unwilling to prioritize her well-being. This realization was devastating, forcing Meri to confront the truth that staying in the relationship meant continuing to sacrifice her own happiness. As she weighed her options, she knew that walking away was the only way to reclaim her sense of self-worth and begin healing from the pain of being ignored for so long. In the aftermath of her decision to separate from Kody, Meri embarked on a journey of self-discovery and healing. For years, she had defined herself through her role as a wife and mother, often sacrificing her own needs to maintain the fragile dynamics of the polygamous family. Now, without the weight of constant emotional neglect holding her back, she had the opportunity to rediscover who she was outside of the marriage. Meri began focusing on rebuilding her confidence, seeking therapy, and surrounding herself with supportive friends and family who genuinely cared about her well-being. Though the process was difficult and often painful, each step forward allowed her to regain control over her life. She learned to set boundaries, prioritize her own happiness, and embrace the possibility of a future where she was no longer defined by someone else's choices. Through this transformation, Mary found strength in her resilience and slowly began to heal from the wounds of the past. Even after physically separating from Kody, the emotional scars of years of neglect continued to impact Mary in profound ways. The patterns of dismissal and favoritism had shaped her sense of self-worth, making it difficult for her to fully believe that she deserved love and respect. There were moments when old insecurities resurfaced, causing her to question whether she had done enough to salvage the relationship or if she had been too quick to walk away. However, as she worked through these lingering doubts, Mary began to recognize that her value was not determined by Kody's inability to see it. Therapy helped her untangle the complex emotions tied to abandonment and rejection, allowing her to process the grief of losing not just a spouse, but the vision of a future she had once believed in. With time, she learned to distinguish between her own worth and the limitations of those who failed to appreciate it, paving the way for healthier relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. Beyond her personal healing, Mary also had to navigate the complexities of redefining her role within the broader family structure. Leaving Kody did not mean cutting ties with her children or the extended sister-wife network, but it did require establishing new boundaries and expectations. Some relationships remained strong, particularly with her children, who supported her decision and recognized the emotional burden she had carried for years. Others, however, were strained due to the intricate dynamics of polygamy and the loyalties that had developed over time. Mary found solace in building connections beyond the immediate family, forging friendships with people who understood her struggles and offered unconditional support. These new relationships provided a sense of community that she had long been missing, helping her move forward with confidence and a renewed sense of belonging. By stepping outside the confines of the marriage, Mary discovered that true support comes from those who uplift and validate rather than diminish, allowing her to build a life centered on authenticity and self-respect. As Mary continued to rebuild her life, she found herself embracing a future that was no longer dictated by the constraints of her past relationship. The emotional freedom that came with setting boundaries and distancing herself from toxic patterns allowed her to explore new passions and interests she had long neglected. Whether through travel, creative pursuits, or simply enjoying moments of solitude, Mary began to cultivate a life that reflected her true self, rather than the version of her that had been molded by years of emotional neglect. She also took steps toward financial independence, ensuring that she had the stability and autonomy necessary to thrive on her own terms. Each small victory reinforced her growing confidence, proving that she was capable of forging a fulfilling path outside the shadow of a relationship that had once consumed so much of her identity. While the pain of the past would never fully disappear, Mary learned to carry it with grace, using her experiences as a source of strength rather than a limitation. With every step forward, she moved closer to a future where she was no longer defined by what she had endured, but by the resilience and determination that had propelled her toward healing and self-discovery. At the heart of Sister Wives lies the intricate and often turbulent family structure of Kody Brown and his 4 wives, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn. Since the show's debut in 2010, audiences have been captivated by the Browns' polygamous lifestyle, their financial struggles, emotional conflicts, and shifting relationships. Over the years, the family has faced numerous challenges, from legal battles over bigamy to personal betrayals and evolving alliances among the wives. These dynamics have kept fans engaged, offering a rare glimpse into a lifestyle that remains controversial and largely hidden from mainstream society. However, as the series has progressed, some moments have stood out not for their dramatic weight or emotional depth, but for their awkwardness and discomfort. One such instance, a particularly cringeworthy scene involving Kody, has left many viewers stunned, sparking widespread discussion and debate. The infamous tongue scene unfolded during a seemingly ordinary family gathering, where tensions were already simmering beneath the surface. As the camera panned across the room, capturing the usual mix of laughter and underlying friction, Kody found himself at the center of an unintentionally bizarre moment. While attempting to engage in playful banter with one of his children, he made an exaggerated facial expression that involved sticking out his tongue in a manner that many fans described as unsettlingly inappropriate. What should have been a lighthearted gesture quickly took a turn for the worse, drawing immediate reactions from those present and leaving others watching at home utterly baffled. Social media erupted shortly after the episode aired, with clips of the moment circulating rapidly. Viewers flooded platforms like Twitter and Reddit, expressing their shock and disbelief, with many questioning the appropriateness of the display, especially given Kody's role as a father figure. Memes and reaction videos soon followed, further cementing the scene as one of the most awkward moments in the show's history. As the clip continued to circulate online, the public response was swift and varied, ranging from outright horror to sarcastic amusement. Many viewers expressed discomfort, arguing that Kody's actions crossed an unspoken boundary of appropriate behavior, especially within a family setting. Some fans questioned whether the moment was intentional or simply a misguided attempt at humor, while others speculated about its implications on Kody's character and parenting style. On social media platforms like Twitter and Reddit, users dissected the scene, sharing screenshots and GIFs that highlighted the sheer awkwardness of the moment. Comments ranged from expressions of disbelief, "Did I really just see that?" to more critical takes, with some suggesting that the incident reflected poorly on Kody's maturity and judgment. Meanwhile, others leaned into the absurdity of the situation, crafting memes and parody videos that exaggerated the moment for comedic effect. Despite the mixed reactions, one thing was clear: the tongue scene had become an unavoidable talking point, ensuring its place as one of the most memorable and cringe-inducing moments in Sister Wives history. As speculation surrounding the tongue scene grew, fans and critics alike began to question whether Kody's actions were deliberate or simply an unfortunate misstep. Some argued that the moment felt staged, pointing to the way the camera lingered on his face and how the other family members reacted with visible surprise. Others suggested that Kody may have been trying to lighten the mood in an otherwise tense episode, using physical humor to deflect from deeper conflicts brewing within the family. In reality, however, the scene appeared to be an unplanned, spontaneous reaction rather than a calculated move. Interviews with production crew members who remain anonymous due to contractual obligations hinted that the moment caught even the camera operators off guard. With minimal editing required to capture the raw, unfiltered reaction from both Kody and those around him, this authenticity, paradoxically, only intensified the discomfort for viewers, reinforcing the idea that sometimes the most shocking moments on reality television are the ones no one sees coming. Despite the initial wave of shock and ridicule, the tongue scene ultimately became another layer in the ever-evolving narrative of Sister Wives. While some fans found it difficult to move past the awkwardness, others viewed it as just another example of the unpredictable nature of reality television. For longtime viewers, the moment served as a reminder that even after more than a decade on air, the show could still deliver surprises, whether intentionally or not. The incident also reignited discussions about the boundaries of entertainment versus real-life behavior, prompting debates about what should and shouldn't be included in a documentary-style series. Producers remained tight-lipped about any potential behind-the-scenes decisions regarding the scene's inclusion, emphasizing their commitment to portraying the family's life authentically without interference. As the season progressed, the tongue moment faded from the forefront of public discourse, replaced by new drama and revelations. Yet, for many, it remained an unforgettable highlight or lowlight of the show's extensive run, proving once again that even the most mundane interactions can take unexpected turns when millions of eyes are watching. Beyond its immediate impact on Sister Wives, the tongue scene tapped into broader cultural conversations about cringeworthy moments in media and how audiences process them. In an era where viral content thrives on unpredictability and awkwardness, moments like this one blur the line between genuine human behavior and performative spectacle. The discomfort many viewers felt stemmed not just from the act itself, but from the awareness that they were witnessing something deeply personal being broadcast for mass consumption. This tension is at the core of reality television, where intimacy and voyeurism intersect in ways that can be both compelling and unsettling. Additionally, the scene reinforced how easily a single moment can overshadow broader narratives, reducing complex individuals to a singular, often exaggerated portrayal. For Kody, who has spent years navigating the complexities of polygamy, fatherhood, and familial strife, the tongue incident risked distorting his image in the eyes of casual viewers unfamiliar with the show's full context. Ultimately, the episode serves as a case study in how modern audiences engage with reality TV, simultaneously drawn to and repelled by the raw, unfiltered moments that define the genre. As the dust settles on the infamous tongue scene, attention naturally turns to what lies ahead for the Brown family. With each passing season, Sister Wives continues to evolve, reflecting the changing dynamics within the household and the external pressures shaping their lives. New conflicts emerge, old wounds resurface, and the ever-present scrutiny of the public eye ensures that no moment goes unnoticed. Whether intentional or accidental, incidents like the tongue scene serve as reminders that reality television is, at its core, a reflection of real life, messy, unpredictable, and often uncomfortable. For the Browns, navigating these challenges means balancing personal growth with the demands of being in the spotlight. While some fans may continue dissecting past moments for years to come, the family must focus on moving forward, adapting to shifting relationships, and addressing the ongoing realities of their unconventional lifestyle. As the show progresses, one thing remains certain: whatever comes next will undoubtedly keep audiences captivated, whether for better or for cringe.